Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. I'm ready to go, like Wanda from Living Color. That's what Boots Ennis is saying. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. He ready to go fight. And he's actually getting ready to fight. And, for those of you who didn't know, but it's not going to be in the ring. It's going to be in a courtroom. And we've been talking about Jaron Ennis, his inactivity. Something's got to give. We know he wants to fight. He seems frustrated. Father seemed frustrated. Now we have a better understanding of what's going on because Jaron Ennis is suing his promoter for breach of contract, and he's hoping to receive $1 million in judgment. Now, when it comes to the just boxers period, but in particular the welterweights, but all boxers, I don't think anyone would be taken as stupid if they were to say Jaron Boots Ennis stands out. But not for the reasons that I think a lot of us as boxing fans would expect. Despite his undefeated record, he's fighting this battle he's fighting is totally different, man. You know, going into court, that's got to be stressful. It's one thing to have an opponent in the ring, but to have your promoter as your opponent, and for us to try to understand the cause, which is a breach of contract, it's got to be something crazy going on behind the scenes that we just don't know about. Because, you know, for Boots to be suing him for $1 million, I think that's maybe he feels the whatever breach of contract, however many fights he would have had if the contract was being honored. Maybe he would have made over $1 million in purses. I'm not really sure. But what I do know is when it comes to Jaron Boots Ennis and his last victory, which was in July. So, I mean, here we are, you know, getting to the middle of February already, where he took on Roman Villa. And he just showed us that he has all the potential, and he passes the eye test to definitely go on to become a pound-for-pound great, which a lot of us feel he's already there, even though he hasn't faced a lot of the huge names. You can just see the writings on the wall that anyone who gets in the ring with him is going to have an uphill battle. But since he got in the ring and clipped Roman Villa, I mean, things just went quiet. I had somebody arguing with me, saying I don't know anything about boxing. Boots has been the most active welterweight. And I told him, hold your horses, stop taking it to the stupid. This man going on July, August, September. It's going on like 7 months of not fighting. That's not good. We need to be talking about his inactivity. But anyway, man, no gloves are being thrown, no bells are being rung, and fight fans are frustrated. You know, because you look at all the fighters. Boots Ennis is the one that everyone is saying has the best chance to beat Terence Crawford. But Boots Ennis has been left kind of like in no man's land. Like he's like Tom Hanks Castaway talking to Wilson at funny-ass volleyball. Just left in the shadows, man. Now, what's crazy about this lawsuit is this is really overshadowing anything that he's done in the ring. So it's no longer Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford, Boots Ennis and Earl Spence, and guys at 147. Should he go to 154? It's not Boots Ennis, really, against the secret society in boxing. Now, he is an undefeated IBF welterweight champion, and his promoter, I didn't know it was called Now Boxing, but it's Now Boxing, man. And it just lets you know, people, you just never know what's going on behind the scenes, but he initiated the legal action on the 7th of February in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, centering the allegations around the breach of contract. Now, it sounds like he was promised a number of fights, okay, and that affected his career progression. We've seen this happen to other fighters, man. You know, this isn't something new when it comes to fighters and promoters, and you know, the promoters are the one putting up all the money. So maybe the type of money they were putting up for Boots Ennis, they didn't get the return that they were hoping for, and they don't want to hemorrhage any more money. Like, that's just me making an assumption. But under that 2019 agreement, Ennis was to fight 4 times in the first 2 years and 3 times in subsequent years. However, over 5 years, he's entered the ring only 10 times, a shortfall that stands at the heart of the lawsuit. So here it is. It goes back to what I was saying. Boots Ennis and that $1 million is around what he would have expected to make if Now Boxing would have upheld the end of the agreement. But the situation has just been exacerbated, man, and it's not getting any better with the passing of Cameron Duncan, Now Boxing's original head. So leadership then passed to Kelly Duncan, who, according to Ennis' legal team, lacks experience in boxing promotion. So that kind of explains what could have gone wrong. It's just there's no continuity there. It'd be like if Bob Arum, with that whole roster of stars they have, if he was to pass away. But there's qualified people on Top Rank where Bob, I know Bob has a lot of input, but they can continue running the show. But the bottom line is, when you don't have qualified people and you don't have the continuity in place, things like this happen. And unfortunately, when it comes to being a boxing promoter and you have contracts with fighters, the fighters ultimately suffer, and now you have this huge ordeal that's getting all kind of attention. But I think Ennis' frustration is palpable, man, especially given his inactivity since his last bout against Villa was, in July. And he has no idea of when he's fighting next. Could be coming up on a year of inactivity. For someone who's in his prime, or people feel maybe the guy to dominate 147 and 154. Nonetheless, man, his complaint has really specified and gave some life to what a lot of people were questioning, which is his passion and readiness and willingness to get back in the ring against anybody. And see, I can only imagine how that's tearing him up inside. But bottom line is, he wants to fight, but there's no opportunities being provided by Now Boxing. Crazy. So ultimately, what he wants is to void the existing contract with Now Boxing, but also, get paid $1 million. So this decision kind of underscores Ennis' determination to reclaim control over his career trajectory, which is what we as fight fans want to see. In addition, it reflects broader issues within, like I'm always talking about, the goddamn secret society and key decision makers behind the scenes, and where, things go bad, man. Contractual disputes sideline a lot of promising talents. This is nothing new, but this is why I also say these fighters need to be getting their ass to Saudi. Look at Boots Ennis, over here struggling. It's not his fault. So hopefully, if he can get from underneath his contract, he can go over there and sign with, Eddie Hearn, or sign with somebody else and get a good deal and be active. But I tell you what, if Boots Ennis was, people would frown on it, but I don't know why. Just give yourself 2-3 fights with Eddie Hearn. Let him get you out there on that Saudi stage. Man, I would love that for Boots Ennis. He doesn't really cuss a lot in interviews. He's not saying ignorant stuff in interviews. He just seems to be strictly boxing, man. People talk about Devin Haney. Dad did a good job with Devin. Okay, no argument there. But what about what Boots Ennis pops and what he did for his son Boots? I ain't talking about the other ones because I don't know much about them. I just know Boots doesn't get on. I haven't seen Boots on social media cussing and acting crazy and disrespecting women and flashing money and doing stupid shit. I always see him strictly business, strictly boxing. So for me, out of all these guys who we follow, I don't think there's anyone more deserving of some huge monster paydays than Boots Ennis. And I think that when he does get back in the ring, no matter who they put him against, I think he's going to rise to the occasion. But you know what? It makes me wonder if these failed negotiations between Stanley Unis and the BS going on with Barrios and the Terence Crawford fight that looked like it could have happened but didn't happen, and now there's a bunch of finger pointing. I wonder if this legal crap has something, it stems from missed opportunities. But nonetheless, man, nothing's materialized, and it's just continued, in my opinion, to add layers of complexity to his current predicament, man. So I don't know. It's crazy. Supposed to be fighting Mario Barrios, but we'll see. Bottom line is, it looks like he's going to be transitioning from, in-ring action in the courtroom to hopefully getting some in-ring action in an actual boxing ring if all this sorts itself out. That being said, for those of you out there who are not sure what's going to happen with Boots Ennis, like I'll tell you what, I would say probably by the summer he'll be back in the ring, but it'll be a year out the ring. And he's going to come back hopefully with a vengeance with the right promoter that can keep him active. Because to me, this is just a travesty to see a guy with that kind of talent just kind of there in the breeze. That being said, y'all keep cool. More to come on Jaron Ennis in the breeze.